Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on Gran Turismo Sport, and we're back with the new daily races for this week. So starting with daily race A, we're at the Kyoto Miyabi track, the really short version, and this car is just pure understeer. So remember everyone, if you do like these videos and they do help you out and you enjoy them, do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back with more videos and live streams in the future. So yeah, let's take a look at daily race A. Now in my opinion, this race is not very enjoyable. This track is better when I feel you've got a car with reasonable grip. Something like the Mazda touring car or the S2000 would have been quite entertaining here. But this Hyundai is an understeering tank. It is not enjoyable to drive. But yeah, it's going to lead to a lot of... I think it's going to lead to a lot of messy driving, if I'm honest. As we come through here, you can see the understeer kicking in. And we're going to have to lift there because we take the wrong line through the corner. And yeah, I just jumped straight into this race with 1 lap's worth of practice. So I had no idea really how this car handles. As we see the guy in front of us there lock up the tyres almost. I'm wondering if he had ABS off or something, because we saw smoke coming from them front tyres. So that's very unusual to see that in when you're actually racing. There's another guy understeers into the barrier and takes himself out there. And now we're up into P10. So yeah, going through this long right hand corner again, you have to be so early on the brakes, which I wasn't really used to doing. You have to be very careful, and you can't put the throttle down too early. Like for example, when you're in the Mazda car, you can really get on the throttle nice and early. You can see there we run into the barrier, someone else runs wide through there, and then we've got a lot of chaos going on in front of us. So we're going to try and make sure we take it smooth through here, but unfortunately we just take it too aggressive, and you can see into the barrier, into the braking zone. Someone else does the same thing, and then just trying to get the car slowed down, almost taking out that guy, but I made sure I braked and stayed to the left, just avoiding him, and we end up getting back overtaken by the blue Hyundai. So back down to P11 after 2 laps. But yeah, there's going to be more chaos as usual in this type of race. People are going to make mistakes, and you're going to gain a few positions as long as you keep it on track. So I was just trying to get used to it, trying to get the braking right. This time we didn't run wide on that corner. As another guy runs wide there, it's all kicking off in front of us. We've got cars sideswiping each other. We go down the left hand side and actually take 2 cars there in one move and gain a couple of positions, and then another car hits a barrier, and as we come through we actually saved him. If you look in the mirror, he was heading to be a 360 spin or something there, and we actually managed to save him as we went through the corner. So lucky for that guy. But we're up to P8. We've got a car back on the inside here now, so we're going to have to let him go and then try and tuck up underneath in this long right-hand corner that never seems to end in this car. I don't think I'm going to be doing too much of this race this week. If it would have been the Mazda touring car, definitely would have given it a go like more often, or the S2000, because it would have been enjoyable. But this car is just not very fun to drive. I mean, some people might enjoy it, but for me, it just doesn't feel entertaining. So yeah, we're just trying to figure it out. Into the braking zone, you see we've got the inside line into this long right hand corner. We're going to take that position back up into P8, and then again just off the throttle almost completely through it, just trying to get the car to rotate. You can see off and on the throttle, trying to get some sort of rotation in the car, almost running wide there, luckily keeping it on track. And now we're back behind that blue Hyundai from the start of the race, and let's see if we can make our way up a couple of extra positions. You can see from P6 onwards, the gap seems to have already increased quite dramatically there. As we go for a move on the inside, he gives us the space. We get on the throttle nice and early as well, and then upshift into 3rd gear, and we've got that position done up into 7th. So yeah, again, understeering on that section so hard. As we see another car that's obviously hit the barrier, obviously struggling with the understeer on this car. Seems like a lot of people were. Now that was pretty much our race over. Once we were up to 6, we actually started to get a little bit more used to the car. We actually gained half a second on the leader as well. Got our lap times into the 45s. But yeah, not really my kind of race. I don't think we're going to be doing too much of that this week. Next race, we have Willow Springs in Group 3. It's normally the RSO1 or the FT1 that will be able to do pretty well at this combination. So I'm going to start from the back of the grid in the RSO1. And yeah, you're about to see the first example of karma. Well, you're not going to see the first example of karma. You're going to see what I think was a little bit of dirty driving from someone. So as we come through here, we're just trying to keep it nice and smooth. Obviously starting from P15, we don't want to do anything stupid at the start. Through this long right hand corner, staying in 5th gear, maybe downshift to 4th gear sometimes there. You can see get a little bit of rotation, then back on the throttle, and then get into 5th gear before you come out the exit there, just to try and get some acceleration out. So as we go here, we stay to the right hand side as he sends it on the RCZ. I stay to the left here, give the RCZ space, and then suddenly the RCZ just comes right across me and hits me. Now I thought that maybe he lost the rear because I was a bit annoyed, but I was like, I actually think he might have took me out. So let's have a little look at this moment now as we come through here. Now this guy, again, you watch him here. In my view, that was just a deliberate takeout and pretty disgusting as well. So again, this is more reason why Gran Turismo 7 has to have a working penalty system, because we cannot have this any longer. It's getting really, really annoying. Now, it took us a while to catch anyone back up because we got reset to track, and that was pretty much a race over, but we carried on. We got a guy with a penalty in front of us there as he went off the track, so we should be able to get past him on the penalty zone. So yeah, and then in front of him is the driver that took me out on the lap 1 when he deliberately went into the side of our car and pushed us off. And we got another driver there that's off into the sand on the left hand side. So again, just staying behind the FT1 here. There's no point to doing any sort of rash move because we know that he's got a penalty. So just sticking behind him and we'll get him once he takes that penalty. So again, yeah, not really pushing through there, just trying to make sure we stay behind him. You can see we had an alright lap at this time, but that was the only lap we had that was reasonably clean, the 1:10.9. I'm pretty sure we could get down to the low 1-minute 10s in race pace. But again, fast forward in the action as we're about to catch up to the driver that took us out, and you're about to witness the first example in today's video of karma, because as we come through, I'm not sure whether, I mean, he may have done this on purpose, I'm not 100% sure, but as we come through here, we go down the right hand side and we get ourselves completely level with him here. You can see dead level with him, and then he just turns in on us. We brake, nearly lose control, but we managed to save it. However, he didn't. He spun the rear and rotated, and au revoir to you. So yeah, a bit of karma for the Peugeot RCZ there. We're going to fast forward the action there as we go to the finish line. We come back with P11. Not much else we could do in that race, but yeah, bit of karma for that Peugeot driver, as I'm not sure if he even knew we were there. He seemed to have a little bit of lack of awareness anyway when he turned in on the other driver on lap 1 as well. So yeah, we're going to skip on to Daily Race C now, where you're about to witness karma number 2. And we're using the Megane. This race you have to pit, but you don't have to change tyres. Now, it's quite tactical because with the tyre wear in this race, you might want to change tyres or you might not. It's all down to tactics of trying to get clean air. And it's actually going to be quite a fun week, I think, for Daily Race C, because I like the combination. I like the Megane. And it very much is a case of getting the strategy right and finding clean air, because without clean air, you're going to lose a lot of time at this combination. And you can change tyres, and it will be a little bit faster if you do that and other people get traffic. But if someone who doesn't change tyre gets a good clean run, they could end up jumping you. It's going to be interesting as we then, you see on the mirror then, we almost blocked Wind. I think we did block him. I thought that we had enough exit speed, went defended, and I actually blocked him. So I decided to just lift on this straight here to let Wind back pass, because it was a little bit naughty. I thought I had enough exit speed, but we didn't. So we're going to let Wind go back past, tuck in behind him, and he gives us a little signal to say thank you. So back behind Wind. While we're behind him, we're just going to save a bit of tyres and not overdrive the car too much, because at this stage I wasn't sure whether I was going to be changing tyres or if I'd be able to do it without changing tyres, as we have someone there in the grass into the barrier of not sure what's gone on there, but obviously some sort of mistake probably coming out of that right hand corner. So into the left hand corner, and Wind starts getting a little bit of a dodgy connection. I'm not sure whether he nearly disconnected there. Sorry, gets a red bars in front of us, and yeah, I was a little bit worried then because I wasn't sure what was going on with his car. Coming through here again, just taking it quite easy now, not taking any risks. As we fast forward the action, obviously just saving them tyres, trying to be quite smooth. And you can see that Wind's battling with the driver in front of him. Now, this driver in front of you, in front of Wind, is actually the driver that has a bit of karma coming his way a little bit later on in this race. But at this point here, we're just trying to save them tyres and, you know, not really do anything stupid, because there's not really much overtaking opportunities when you've got someone in slipstream. You can see a lot of the overly defensive driving going on. It's not the best racecraft, but everyone's entitled to do it. But at this type of race, you want to race smart, really, because if someone gets, you know, clean air, they're going to jump you and just pull away. So again, Ram Wind is going to see if he can go for a move on P9. But if anything, we've got a bit of run on Wind there, and you can see we get the inside line, and I think he decides, instead of going side by side through that corner, back out, tuck into our slipstream, and see if we can find the way past this driver in P9. So we're up to P10 now, and now we're going to come up to the driver that is going to lose us quite a lot of time, but also have a bit of moment of karma for him. So we wanted to put him under pressure, see if we can maybe make him make a mistake by, you know, doing a few fake dives, not actually diving it though, and just trying to put him, put a little bit of pressure on him to see if he'll make a mistake here and there. But yeah, I mean, in fairness to him, he does do some pretty good defensive driving. But the amount of time that both of us lose from this is just crazy. So yeah, we're into that slipstream, and you can see wind behind us. And again, we made a little bit of a mistake on that left-hand corner, and we're just going to tuck up behind him again and see if we can find opportunities to go for a move. You can see he wasn't very fast on the third sector, really. He was quite slow on this sector and the previous sector. And we're right up back behind him there, within 2/10 of him. We're going to stay to the right hand side here, see if we can go for a move on the inside. We're back to the left to see if we can get a better exit from the corner. And he's just took that tight line through there, and he's going to go to the right hand side to obviously defend for the next turn 1 that's coming up here. So we try a little fake. It's not going to work. Back over to the left hand side of the track, and then we go to have the inside line, and I don't know if he braked early to try. I'm not sure whether he was braking early to give us a position, but then he tries to squeeze us out a little bit there on the exit, and then he just runs quite deep into the corner. I don't see a problem with that. It was more so on the exit of turn 1, he kind of squeezed us wide a bit, but I don't think that was anything deliberate. I don't think it was anything too bad by him. And yeah, we're still in P10. So we're having a little look up the inside here. We're going to go back down the right hand side and see if we can go around the outside, but that isn't going to work. It never will really work on the outside of that corner with the camber of the corner. So back into the slipstream now. Can we find a way to maybe go for a move into this really fast right hand corner? So we're staying to the right hand side of the track. We're going to go to the left hand side and maybe fake it back up right, then back to the left, just to try and trick him into something, a mistake maybe. But at the moment, he's holding on quite well, and he's actually driving reasonably okay. So he's defending pretty well at this point, but we're just both losing time. And then sometimes in this kind of situation, it gets a little bit messy as we come through here. It doesn't leave us much space. We nearly lose control, but luckily we managed to save it. And you might have noticed as well that wind went for a very early pit stop. So all this time was just very likely to lose us a lot of positions. You can see the cars behind are gaining on us, and yeah, it's just losing time after time, and it is frustrating, but it's, perfectly entitled to defend like this. And yeah, as long as he doesn't overstep the mark, which you're probably going to see where he does in a minute, as we again just trying to work him left to right to see if we can wrong foot him without actually sending it at the moment. There's not really many places you can actually send it at this track. So again, up the inside, we're not going to send it there. We brake nice and early, just trying to get him wrong footed for one of the corners coming up, just to try and get a run on him somewhere. So again, we're going to have a little look up the inside here maybe, but again, we're a little bit too far back to go for a move there. However, he's gone too deep into that corner. We've got a run on him now, and we're going to go down the left hand side, and you can see we've actually got much better acceleration out the corner, so this move should be done. You can see he's in our mirror on the right hand side, and we're pretty much past him. However, he decides to go full send into the corner. Luckily I saw it coming in the mirror, and he sends himself off the track. And yeah, all that just to try and defend, over defensive drive, and I don't think he needed to do that. It was all a bit pointless, and he gives himself a little bit of karma there. So second karma of the day, and we're up now into P9. Now from this position we've got a nice bit of clean air, so I decided to stay out on that clean air, and you can see on the lap times we had no traffic at all. We had 4 or 5 laps there of just nothing. So we were doing low 29s, not particularly a great laps, but we were on old tyres, and we're still carrying on here as we finish lap 9. And again, we go over the line on a 29.2. We're not fully up to speed on this combo yet, but I'm sure we'll be doing 28s once we're used to it. But you can see P2 there. We have Momo's in front of us, the legend that is Momo's. We're catching him up quite quickly. I think Momo's had already pitted, but had done the same strategy as what I've done with not changing the tyres. And he seemed to be struggling with the tyres a little bit. You can see we're gaining on every single corner. We seem to be gaining a tenth here and there. So he's losing a little bit of time as we fast forward the action for the rest of this lap. And then as we come through to this right hand corner up here, I think he just cuts this a little bit too much, or runs wide or something, but he gets a half a second penalty. It looked a bit weird to me because it didn't look like he did it too wrong. But yeah, unfortunately for Momo's there, he's picked up half a second penalty. We're in P3 at the moment, but we still need to pit. So the strategy that I've done here, because of what we lost at the start of the race fighting with that other driver, seems to be working out quite okay for us. So we need to try and get past Momo's as quick as possible. So through this right hand corner, we take a tight line through there. He runs a little bit wide, struggling with them tyres on that McGann Momo's is, and we manage to get ourselves up into P2, which technically we're not in P2, but for now we're in P2. We still need to pit. So yeah, you can see that we've definitely done a reasonable job with the tyres, because Momo's is really struggling on the tyres. Skip ahead to our pit stop now. You can see we built the lead up to 2.8 seconds to Momo's there. So managed to gain quite a bit of time. Now, this is one thing you do need to do at this track. You can really take advantage of the pit entry. So you can cut across there and pretty much straight line into the pit entry, and you'll gain yourself 1 second at least. So make sure you're doing that, because otherwise other people will be doing it and you won't, and you'll lose out. So into the pits, we don't change the tyres, no refueling, and as we come out the pits, you see that P3 just gets out ahead of us there. So the strategy has definitely worked though, considering the amount of time that we lost fighting with the other drivers at the start of the race. This strategy of staying out and just using that clean air has definitely worked, and not changing the tyres has really helped us out. So we've still got the worn tyres, but the tyres, even though worn on the Megane, actually drive pretty well. So can we see if we can fight our way into a podium position on this daily race C? It's a fun combination. I think this is going to be where most people will be racing this week. It's enjoyable. I will be using the Megane most times here. I love the Megane around this track. It's enjoyable to drive. But there are options for other cars if you want to change tyres, so you can always factor that in. There will be other options. So we've got slipstream. Can we go for a move here? We're definitely too far back to send it anywhere at this point, so we're just going to try and see if we can put him under pressure by the end of the lap. So keep it nice and smooth through here. Try not to make any mistakes. Don't get a penalty. Don't lose control on this corner, for example, which is very easy to do. And again, we're still pretty close, within 0.3 of a second of P3, and just trying to keep it smooth through this corner, and then trying to get a good exit off this left-hand corner that we're approaching now. So down to third gear, hit that apex nicely, on the throttle nice early. We actually do that quite nice. You can see we've got a bit of a run on him here, under 2 tenths behind him. He's going to go defensive. Now I go to the left-hand side of the track. Now I expected him to run quite far wide there, and I decided not to try and go around the outside of him, but he actually was giving us space, so credit to him. I just wasn't sure whether he was going to give me the space, so we tuck up behind him, and we take a P4 in this race. It was a close battle at the end there for the podium, but an enjoyable combination. I think there's going to be a lot of good racing here this week. There might be some iffy racing as well, but yeah, daily race C for me is the one that I will mainly be doing. Daily race B and A, not the most fun for me. So yeah, hopefully see you on daily race C. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the karma moments, and I'll see you all very soon for a live stream. Thanks again for watching, everyone.